This was sold as a plan to curb violence on the streets of Milwaukee. City churches coming together to buy back guns.
2 years later, the I-Team wanted to know if those efforts are making a difference.
Jermont Terry took those questions to one of the program's organizers. Jermont.
Steve, about 30 churches collaborated on the Milwaukee gun buyback program. They say they collected about $40,000 to offer in exchange for guns. But when the I-Team asked questions about exactly how many guns were collected, where the money came from, and where it ended up, we found out there were not a lot of answers.
Milwaukee police say they are responding all too often to deadly crime scenes like this. With 124 homicides so far this year, the city is at a 10-year high for murders. A majority of those victims were gunned down.
People should put down their guns and try to resolve things in different ways.
Put down the guns. That's the cry from officers and the community. It prompted a gun buyback program.
We're trying to do our part.
John McVicker of Christ the King Baptist is one of the area pastors who helped organize Milwaukee's gun buyback plan. In June 2014, cars lined up, people came out, and weapons were collected.
Somewhere around 325, 350 weapons.
MPD says officers checked the guns for connections to crimes. The weapons were then destroyed.
We were strongly of the opinion that we needed to do something.
The plan was to see if offering gift cards for guns would help curb the gun violence.
350 weapons seized. That was a success in your opinion?
It's not really a number that we're ashamed of.
Despite turning in 350 handguns and assault rifles over to officers, the buyback only happened once.
It was only that one day. There has not been any subsequent initiative to try to buy back any weapons.
When I look at this table and the amount of guns that I see here, it's overwhelming.
The state of New Jersey is considered the poster child for a successful buyback program. In 2 years, the state reported 14,000 firearms were turned in for gift cards. Officials there collaborated with local and state police. They used assets seized from criminals to buy the gift cards. That was not the case in Milwaukee.
The police department and the mayor's office were reluctant because they didn't think that it would be effective.
McVicker says they raised a total of $40,000, including $5,000 he says came from the city. But there's no record the city gave any money. The mayor's office tells us the city did not kick in $5,000. Southside alderman and candidate for mayor Bob Donovan never supported the plan. He insists gun buyback programs rarely work.
If a gun buyback is something that the private sector is interested in doing, God bless them.
We're not deluded in thinking that gun buyback initiatives is the panacea for these urban problems.
MPD tells us Chief Flynn supports the buyback programs as part of a comprehensive effort to reduce firearm violence, not just as a gift card exchange. The mayor's office says the churches turned in more than $20,000 in leftover gift cards to the police department. More than a year later, the city is working to determine what to do with that money.
And right now, there are no plans to relaunch the gun buyback program here in Milwaukee. The pastors say they are willing to reconsider it again, but they need city leaders on board. Now, we reached out to the mayor, and he says that they need legislators in Madison and D.C. to become a part, I should say, of this gun violence solution.
Yeah, there's a collaborative of ideas that need to come together. That's the key. Thank you very much, Jermont.